how's everyone doing? So, for this video, I decided to do something a little more topical, like rip from the headlines, so to speak, like Law and Order. This video is perhaps of a more speculatory nature than my viewers are used to. But we feel it's important to ask questions, especially in times like these. Even if those questions might upset some people, this video will explore a theory or two that I've seen float around in the KISS communities and the political communities as well, such as on places like Reddit and Facebook, the political hubs of discussion. So, to get right into it, Israel is allegedly no secret to false flags and shady covert operations. And while mainstream public opinion has traditionally always been in Israel's favor, whether you're pro-Israel or not, you got to admit that Israel's once secure title of the only place you can't say anything bad about. It's not like that anymore, with all the like independent news coverage following Israel's response to October 7th, 2023. Um, it's done a lot of damage to Israel's reputation in the world. Um, but the leaders of both mainstream political parties in the U.S. are still heavily in favor of using your money to pay for Israel to bomb people. With Trump and Biden have been described as allegedly being quote equal opportunity garglers of Netanyahu's ball sack. That is something that I've seen said all over the place. But criticism of Israel is no longer the fringe subject it was even 5 years ago, with the left and the right forming vocal coalitions of detractors. Could be argued that the recent rise in prominence of far right thought leaders and philosophers like Nick Fuentes, Sam Hyde, and Anthony Cumia could be attributed to the growing discontent regarding this topic. And America's left has a schism regarding this topic as well, with the old guard neo-libs like Biden and Bill Maher carrying water for Israel against the young radicals like Mamdani, Roger Waters, and Norman Finkelstein. Let me give you guys a personal example. I have a buddy up in Tiffin, Ohio. We'll call him Devontae Reginald Curtis. He was a proud Trump supporter, proud openly gay man, proud lover of Kiss, and especially Ace Frehley. But like he saw those horrible videos all over TikTok of what's going on in the Middle East, and he renounced his support of Trump, and now he says he's done with politics. He was almost done with Kiss, which I will explain in a second. That's just one example of this issue having like a big impact on the hearts and minds of Americans, and it's fun for us to think about because like we're never gonna get bombed or have to fight an actual war or anything. It's all done with like drones and stuff now. But basically, the band Kiss have a long relationship with Israel. Gene Simmons was born there. He's always been rather outspoken about his Zionism. I don't fault Gene for this. It's kind of true for most Jewish people of his age and stature. Whether you're conservative or liberal. Seinfeld, Howard Stern, Gene Simmons, yeah, they all love Israel. I don't expect them to be into geopolitics or anything, but either way, Gene's been a Zionist for most of his life, and kind of like the way Kiss often adjusted their sound to account for the trends of the day. So does Gene Simmons adjust his politics depending on that week's flavor. So to preface this, I want to dive into the popular theory that Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, perhaps aided in the death of Charlie Kirk. Um, I've seen this theory floated around. If we think of like intelligence agencies, CIA, KGB, Mossad, they're like mob enforcers for like a government's interests and stuff like that. It's kind of like, you can think of like the real Italian mob finding ways to like expose or dispose, sorry, like people who used to be like allies and shit, but like they may have made a small digression, but it jeopardizes the whole family operation. And governments have done that to people within the government. So Charlie Kirk was allegedly in fear for his life just days before his assassination, after making what were really rather mild criticisms of Israel, probably over the past year. But these were apparently cause for concern, and private text messages leaked and stuff. So this leads me to the article in question. This article from Blabbermouth, September 21st, 2024. Note that September 25th, 2025 was the day of Ace Frehley's first of two falls that would prove fatal. In this article, Gene Simmons gives his opinion that the pro Palestine protest movement is, quote, well intentioned but not informed. Now, this is hardly a declaration of support for Hamas or even the protesters, but it's possible that Charlie Kirk was allegedly taken out for even less. And the standard line among Zionists across both parties is that typically they say that criticism of Israel is inherently anti Semitic. Now we fast forward to October 2025, possibly the most tragic month in the history of KISS. Now, not only does Ace Frehley tragically pass away on October 16th, but Gene Simmons suffers a severe car accident just a little over a week prior. And Gene's car accident was on none other than October 7th, 2 years after one of the most significant dates in Israel's history. Now, this all coincides with the September 21st, 2024 date of Gene's comments about the pro Palestine protesters. It's raised some questions in the world of KISS and politics. People are asking, was Gene's car accident and Ace Frehley's fatal fall shortly after that perhaps some elite outside forces way of saying, we're not going to take you out because you've been good to us so far, but, we're going to take out your old buddy as a warning. You better not mess up again. The next car crash might not be so lucky. Anything's possible. So, if Mossad could take out Epstein and Kirk, there's no reason to think that Ace Frehley is above reproach, especially with his own ex-wife's ties to the mob, Ace's lack of ties to Israel. Gene and Paul have even outed Ace for making anti-Semitic jokes back in the 70s. So, was Ace Frehley already on Mossad's naughty list? I'd like to hear from you guys. What you guys think? I know this is a little off the wall, but it's something that I've seen, so I want to get your take on it. Keep on rocking.